Ladies and gentlemen, John Purrington is the pastor at Monroe First Methodist. Friend of mine, been here 4.5 years. Great family. Son is a graduate from Georgia Tech, newly married. And tell us about your daughter.
Well, she is finishing her 4th year at Auburn,
Okay.
and she had her first interview for vet school yesterday.
At Georgia or Auburn?
Yes. It's hard. She's in the running for Auburn, Georgia, and Tennessee. We'll take any of them. We don't care.
As long as she didn't go to Tennessee, we're great.
Now, my wife is Tennessee. My wife's a Vol.
Well, tell her we said War Eagle.
Yeah, I will. I'll do that.
If you would, please lead us in prayer.
It's a grace to be with you, and just thank you for your service tonight. Thank you. Or always, thank you. Lord, we thank you for the day that you've given us. We're so grateful for your love in our lives, and I continue to pray your blessing on those that serve, as well as this community. We pray to be faithful in all that we do, and I ask for your blessing, your presence tonight in all of their deliberations. We look to you for our life and our love. We ask it, Lord Jesus. I ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, John. I appreciate you coming in tonight. Call this meeting to order. Let the record reflect that most of council is present. Greg Thompson, Ross Bradley, Moshe Crawford, Lee Malcolm, and Julie Sams. I believe Ms. Brown is on the phone joining us. Adrian, are you there?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Dickinson and Mr. Gregory will be unable to attend in person or on the phone tonight. I need approval of the agenda, please. A motion to approve the agenda with the striking of the executive session.
I'll move to approve, Mayor.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. That passes. The consent agenda this month is the Downtown Development Authority minutes and the Convention and Visitors Bureau minutes from November 13th, Planning Commission meetings from November 18th, Historic Preservation from November 20th, and City Council minutes from December 9th. I need a motion for the approval of the consent agenda, please.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
We'll give that one to Mr. Thompson, and the second, Ms. Malcolm. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. That passes. Moving to public presentations. We don't have a public presentation tonight. I do have a public comment from Ms. Sandra Shelton regarding neighborhood safety and Meadow Walk. Ms. Shelton, come on forward, please. When you talk, if you would speak into the mic so we can get you on the minutes and everything.
I have 2 busted eardrums, so if you can speak a little louder.
Yes,
My name is Sandra Shelton. I live in the Meadow Walk subdivision. I've been there for 16 years, and we're starting to see a lot of changes. We're having problems right now with parking. We have the inclines, like the hills. I'm from New Orleans, so this is hills. But we have those inclines, and we have people that's parking on the inclines on the street. And you can't see it. It's, this two-way street. You can't see when you're trying to go over the incline. You can't see what's coming. So it's a possibility of a collision, a head-on collision, because they're parking, even 18-wheelers now are parking on Meadow Walk Drive. That's the main highway. That's the main street. That's one of the issues we're having. Last week, we almost had an accident because someone was parked on that incline and another car was coming and they just stopped. They just stopped before they hit each other. So this is a problem, and this is a problem that's becoming increasing because the neighborhood is filling up. It's getting bigger. Right. I have 3 issues here.
Yes, ma'am.
The second issue that I would like you all to consider are speed bumps. We have little kids, babies now, a lot of little children in the Meadow Walk subdivision. And last week, a little 2-year-old got out in the street. Her mom, she called her, but the cars come very quickly. They ride very quickly down because it's a straight street. And they shoot down that street. And I'm afraid something's going to happen. And I think speed bumps, strategically put a place, will kind of stop that and kind of save lives, I believe. My last thing, and then I'm out of here, we have a problem with dirt bikes. Every summer, dirt bikes and low riding vehicles. A couple of years ago, a guy tried to he swerved and he missed one. I've got the pictures. They ran into my house. They ran into the porch, and his tire came off. My son had just gone inside because, you know, he was sitting on the porch, and the tire came off right. I've got all the pictures if you want to see it. But the guy, when he hit, he totaled 2 vehicles, and he damaged my son's truck. So these are the pictures.
You can bring them to me if you like.
Pass them around.
Oh, and this is a picture of, I tried to take pictures the best I can of the incline where you can't really see the cars coming. But they use the main street as up and down and up and down. As I said, I've lived there for 16 years. There's a lot of older citizens that's living in Meadow Walk, and they're not used to all that, you know, that noise and that up and down. And like I said, the guy, and this is not the first time that they had to swerve to, and these are mostly kids
Right.
that's doing this,
I
like
understand.
teenagers. They're not really doing anything bad. They're just trying to have fun, but it's dangerous. And as you can see the pictures, it was a mess.
Okay, we've talked this morning with Ms. Durham, you talked with on the phone. We talked to Ms. Durham this morning that you spoke with.
Yes, sir.
We have studies that'll be probably placed in there next week that Jeremiah will handle. And we'll talk to our police officers about maybe patrolling a little bit more
Okay.
on the on-street parking. Don't know the exact ordinance and laws, but, well, these would be under state laws with parking on the roadway, but we'll keep an eye on it,
Okay.
okay? Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you
They're
so much
parking
for
on
listening.
both sides of the road. Is that what
Sorry?
you're saying? They're parking on both sides of the road, and then so you have to use the center lane to get through.
And when they have parties or they have company, it gets more dangerous because there's more cars that's,
Oh, sure. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. I
Yes, ma'am.
appreciate
I appreciate your coming in. Yes, ma'am. Moving to business item, city administrator update, Mr. Probst.
Thank you, Mayor.
We're moving on. We'll pass your pictures back.
So 2025 came to an end. We had lots of accomplishments. Mr. Bailey's been adding a lot of that stuff to social media, which he may talk about in a moment. Additionally, the mayor wrote an article in the Tribune just kind of outlining the many, many things that we've had going on. We've had just an incredible amount of overall projects, but not only that, just the day-to-day has kept us all extremely busy. I think you all know that. We've talked about it ad nauseum for the past couple of years. But I don't anticipate it to slow down any in 2026. We are trying to finish out a lot of our projects and see them through, but we do have a few more, good things that we'll talk about over the course of the next few months that we're trying to do for our town, our city, that will add a lot of value. And then actually some of it is on agenda tonight, the baby steps there. The truck bypass signage, we've all been working together, streets department, police department, legal team, on how we're gonna place the signage for no-through trucks and, on Broad Street, Spring Street, and try to reroute all of that, heavy truck traffic, the over 2,000 per day that traverse Highway 11, Broad Street through downtown. So we're working on that. It should be in place, would you say, Jeremiah, pretty soon? End of the week? All right, that's pretty good. From there, we'll move into a warning posture with policing, and then we'll actually start issuing the fines for the violators. And we're trying to reach out to a lot of the area businesses to try to make sure they are aware of where the routes are and what is expected of them. So we're not trying to be too heavy-handed. We're just asking for a lot of help there. And then lastly, we're really starting to track all the new bills that are being dropped in the state legislature. Some of them are carryovers from the last session. Some of them are brand new. A lot of them are regarding taxation, some of them local taxation, and how we as local governments are gonna have to deal with that. If we didn't get a plate full of that last year, we'll get another one this year, right? So we're really trying to track that. We're only in, day 2 of the session? So here we go again. And I'll keep you updated plenty through email along the way, because we probably can't have enough meetings on all of these topics.
You got it. Are there any questions for Mr. Probst? Mr. Bailey?
Yeah, I'll be fairly quick. Yeah, like I'd sent out to you guys, I believe, last week, every day for last week. This week at 10 in the morning, we've fired out departmental statistics from 2025, and that's spent the last week or so working with the department heads, directors, to get their information from the entirety of 2025, just to show the amount of work and whatnot that we've done, what our hours actually accomplish and do, from footages of pipe that are put in the ground to, how many calls for service we have from public safety to tomorrow will be sanitation, solid waste, that shows how many tons of garbage we actually go through as a city, how much goes then to the landfill, and then planning and zoning will be highlighted on Thursday. So it's a lot. And then we've talked to a few. We're going to then jump in, I think, 1st of February and start highlighting a lot of the things that we have planned for this year. I know Mr. Middlebrooks and McGuire, Jeremiah, we've got a lot of grant projects and stuff that we're working on. I want to get all that consolidated to then share that with the citizens too, so that they can know what's coming in 2026 and beyond. I just think that'll be a good update that leads into our committee meetings, retreats that we'll have too, just so people can be aware of what we're doing. So that's pretty much the entirety of my report. Just wanted to highlight that part. Kudos to everybody of what they did in 2025. You guys saw it. A lot of people saw it. I know they feel it. And then, Christmas season's over. Tree came down today. Car show's March 21st. So right around the corner. We're already booking judges, ordering trophies, working on vendors. People have already started registering. So we are there, how quick it comes about and turns over. Dad was right when he said the older you get, the faster it goes. So that's it, barring any questions.
Are there any questions for Mr. Bailey? Chris, those posts have been great. You're getting a lot of love for them too, so thank you for doing that. There's no old business tonight, but moving to new business, we have a public hearing for the zoning ordinance amendments. Mr. Calendar?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm just going to jump right into those amendments, and hopefully you've had time to digest those over the past few weeks. And I would like to make a note for the record that both these amendments and the maps that you'll hear in a moment, they are on display in the council chambers at this moment. So starting the first amendment, this is just cleaning up of a table because we're eliminating the central business district. It's no longer necessary as you have the character-based code now governing that area, so we're taking that out of that table. On section 310, this is regarding the actual adoption of the map. We're changing the date to reflect this meeting, and then we've added a clause regarding the actual regulating plan itself, differentiating it between the character-based regulating plan and the zoning map. And on our zoning table, our land use table, we're going to be eliminating the CBD category. It's going to be removed from this table in its entirety. Moving down to land use changes, the only proposed land use change here on this page, we are proposing to move lawn and garden supply wholesalers. We're going to remove them as a permitted use by right in B3 and just leave them in M1. We're going to add a category in the commercial area called general retail, permitted by right in B1, B2, and B3. This covers a lot of the retail uses we typically get inquiries on. Because you have very specific listings of retail uses, and sometimes people that want to conduct business in the city, they don't fall necessarily under this category. So we're not talking about anything extreme here. This would just cover some of those uses that would be your basic commercial uses that are not listed. And then we're adding a category under the industrial subsection that's going to be titled Technological Data and Scientific Research. And we're moving two uses that are existing in the light industrial area to that category. But the first land use under this new category is data centers. It will be proposed as a conditional use, and that means that city council will see any proposed data centers that will come to the city of Monroe, and it's conditional use in the M1 zoning district. The other uses we've added to that category are cryptocurrency data mining. That is not listed as a permitted use, but we are trying to differentiate it between data processing as two different types of AI cloud type processing. The other two land uses that we moved, there they are, and they're permitted by right. We just shifted them down, and then we added a clause that said any technological data and scientific research use not listed will be a conditional use that this city council can approve. This is just because I couldn't imagine all the technological uses that would come about. There's a path forward if something does come up that this council would have the approval for that. Again, this is your accessory table, getting rid of the CBD category here. And then your note sections regarding this, the tables 4 and 4A that we just saw. Getting rid of notations that related to the CBD, these are no longer necessary. Same thing here at the top, two that are highlighted in red, those are being eliminated, they are no longer necessary for the central business district. And then we've added a clause here for data centers. This is note 36. It was shown on the table previously where we've added it on there. And this deals with adding restrictions for data centers itself. So, and it goes on for 4 different sections, and I'm going to cover those in detail here just real quickly. So starting out, the first part deals with the actual location requirements. We're asking that data center buildings be located no closer than 500 feet to any residential structure. We're also requiring that the sites themselves have a 100-foot buffer around the perimeter of the site, and in that buffer, they need to have a combination of vegetation and topographical structures to help with sound abatement and to minimize noise generated from the operation itself. Let's give you some idea what we're talking about here on this first paragraph. And this is what it would look like. Essentially, you're talking about a distance building to building would be the separation, 500 feet, and in between the property itself would be a 100-foot buffer to the data center building. So there would be at least a 400-foot distance in some cases, maybe from the property line itself. If you got 100 foot from the back of a residential property itself, it may be about 400 feet. It could be less. There's no specific scenario on the city I could come up with, but this gives you an idea what the minimum dimensions will be for those separations. The reason why is that in the video that we did provide you guys, this is a scenario in Loudoun County, Virginia. As you can see, abutting these residential neighborhoods is a data center. It is a first-generation data center, but there is zero buffering between the backs of these homes and these data centers. And so there's nothing to basically help them abate from any impacts from the properties. The distance between that residence and the building, get that to pull up here for you. With no buffers and no anything, it's 171 feet. So the back door of that guy's house to that data center building is 170 feet. Zero buffering, zero anything to prevent any intrusion to his property. So we want to avoid that at all costs. The second part of this would be a sound attenuation requirements. It has been proposed by several experts in the industry that the tonal noise, the hum or drone that you've ever heard about that are created by these facilities, it can be attenuated by changing the cooling system, by changing its efficiency, introducing certain restrictions to the fan output, and I'm not going to spell all that out. And then there's a material they could put around the actual cooling systems themselves can eliminate the tonal noise that would be escaping from the site. And we can measure tonal noise with an app on your phone. So that's something that is measurable. It's not a high frequency thing. It's not a decibel issue. This is the low frequency stuff that you normally wouldn't even hear. It just would be vibrating. So this is a baseline requirement essentially to help get the cooling equipment, making it a minimal impact to your adjoining properties. And that's just a little graphic there. When they actually use these, measures appropriately, it moves the fan efficiency down. They could operate at about 20% less than 100%. It cools the facility the same way, and then the tonal noise is gone away. You can see the red there is tonal noise output, and then it's basically eliminated in the second little picture there. Then we're asking the data centers themselves to conduct 2 public outreach meetings, a minimum of 6 months prior to submitting anything to the city of Monroe, and that would be contacting owners via letter, by email, by public notification within 500 feet of the site itself. And we've asked them to publish that in the legal organ, provide the dates and times, and provide a location that's accessible to the general public in both instances. And then they're supposed to provide proof of these meetings, fully documented, when they submit their applications to the city. And then finally, at the time of conditional use application, we're asking the applicants to provide a detailed plan for the site development so that city council can see where the buildings will be located, and we can confirm if they are complying with the first two requirements, an environmental assessment for any potential issues there, and then proposals for sound pollution mitigation for the site. And those are the requirements that we're asking for there to be placed on data centers as a conditional use. Moving on, this is a cleanup of the CBD. We're getting rid of that category here. It's mentioned in the overlay districts. That's got to be removed. And then we're cleaning up some language in your historic district overlay. It referred to them, the entirety of the historic districts as one historic district. We're cleaning that language up to say the historic districts that are identified in the primer. And then we're adding the language about your character-based code. It only refers to the zoning ordinance at this time. Moving forward, this is the corridor design overlay district. We're asking that Highway 78 be removed from the district because there are no instances that we've run into in the past few years that I've been overseeing the corridor where Highway 78's impacted the corridor design itself. It's always properties that are abutting it and not facing it. So they basically cannot meet the corridor design overlay requirements as far as building depth, landscaping, and then its frontage requirements. That's not been possible because it's a limited access highway, and the only parts that are essentially being affected by it are out east of town, and that's a 4-lane divided highway at that point, and I do not expect the corridor design requirements to be in place out there trying to create an urban environment where you have a 4-lane divided road. So we're simply asking that it be removed. And then that also has a removal of the CBD reference there in the second part of that paragraph. And then moving on, there is a conflict in the, I believe that is the COA, or no, excuse me, not a conflict. We're asking that to increase the amount of impact that a site would have from $25,000 to $50,000, just due to the cost of things being so expensive these days. Simple changes can be very expensive. We're talking about panel replacements and things on their exterior of their building that would not need a corridor design consideration. We're just asking to increase that amount so they don't have to come in front of the Planning Commission each and every time there's some simple change. And then we've added a clause here that deals with existing sites. A good example would be your hospital. They are on your corridor design overlay district. It's a fully developed site. And when they need to make changes, they have to come in front of the corridor commission each time for something simple. And so we're talking about additions to the emergency room or some type of simple addition. So we're adding a clause here that a fully developed site, if they're not doing something that's greater than 10% of their total building area, or they do not impact the criteria of the corridor, that they're allowed to be a minor change. Moving forward there, getting rid of section 646 in its entirety, you can see that's struck. And then we're moving into the Article 7, this is your character-based regulating plan. We're adding a section here that is the same as section 310 that deals with the zoning map. This is for the regulating plan. It differentiates the zoning map from the regulating plan, and it's got the language about its adoption reflecting this meeting. We're adding two things here in the standards for the mill district, special mill district, and then our character district 4. I'm adding house types to allow greater inclusion of different houses, and the lot widths that are there were originally intended when we prepared this ordinance. They just had not been listed, so we're adding those in there. That had been planned for all along. It just the language did not make it in there, so we're correcting that. Moving on, I got a discrepancy in your sign regs for planned districts. There's one requirement that says you can't have a sign greater than 50, and then I got another one that says it could be up to 75. It's a bit confusing, so we've been weighing an error of the 75, and then we're going to change that to just be 75. Moving forward, we're going to add environmental regulations to the landscape design and tree preservation article. It's a very small article in your ordinance, but what we're doing is we're going to cross-reference your stream protection ordinance that's in your code of ordinances and place that into the zoning ordinance itself. And then in the special exception variance section, we're going to add that as a procedure. That way it's got a clearer path forward. It doesn't change your code of ordinances, stream buffer protection. This is just a reference to that in the zoning ordinance itself. That way we can have a procedural tie-in to the code of ordinances for that variance. Because in the code of ordinances, it does say a variance. It just doesn't say what type. And you've changed your variance types to special exceptions or hardships. So we're doing this to make that inclusionary for the special exception types. And that is all the proposed amendments before council this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Callender. It was a joy to hear from you. Are there any questions for Brad? Any comments?
So are we required to have a zoning regulation for data centers?
Currently, at this time, that land use is not listed in your ordinance, so it is essentially prohibited from the city of Monroe. As you can see by your neighboring affecting jurisdictions, they're getting inquiries about data centers, and so we're trying to be a little bit proactive that there will be at least a path. So if the city is approached by a data center developer, there is a procedural, but this city council will have the ultimate say-so on a conditional use matter. So they're not a use by right. It would be conditional.
That's all I wanted to know,
Yeah.
because there's so much to consider.
Absolutely, and I think, given that there's gonna be unique situations for property to property, something that I couldn't anticipate in those 4 paragraphs there, I would imagine that there would be some additional considerations when a conditional use comes in.
Brad, I believe it was page 10. You have cryptocurrency mining,
Yeah,
but there was no heading for it. And I think it was page 9 or 10.
you meant like it wasn't a permitted use, or?
I couldn't tell if it was permitted or,
We're leaving it out. We're just differentiating between data centers and cryptocurrency mining, and here's the reason why, is that the facilities you saw in that picture there, that was a data processing center, AI, cloud, all your fun stuff, you pick up your phone and it's coming from that location. The difference between that and cryptocurrency data mining is those facilities could be in a chicken house.
yeah.
They are not required to have fully cooled facilities. In fact, their equipment can run hot outside with fans. And so they're noisy, they're loud, and they're different. And so what's happening on the inside of the building is really a little bit different than we normally would see with a data center. So they're a little bit something that I would not recommend that the city move forward making an allowed use or a conditional use.
All right.
Because those facilities could be probably more impactful than a data center.
Good, thank you. Are there any other questions or comments for Brad? I'll declare this portion of the meeting open for the purpose of public input. Is there anyone here who would like to speak in favor of the zoning ordinance amendments? Is there anyone here who would like to speak against the zoning ordinance amendments? Hearing none, I'll declare this portion of the meeting closed. We'll come back to revisit that in just a moment. Moving to the official zoning map, Mr. Calendar.
Thank you, Mayor. This is your adoption of your official zoning map, and I'd like to point out for the record that the map is on display here in the City Council chambers, has been on display in the City Hall since December 1st. There are only 2 zoning changes that were on this map, and they've been added to the map itself, and there was also a de-annexation last year that's been reflected on this plan. And I would like to also note that the character districts, they're not on this plan, but there's a note that says, see the regulating plan for those character areas. And that's all that I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Brad about that? I'll declare this portion of the meeting open for the purpose of public input. Is there anyone here who would like to speak in favor of the official zoning map changes? Is there anyone here who would like to speak against the zoning map changes? Hearing none, we'll be back to revisit that in just a moment. And then moving to the official character-based code regulating plan, Brad.
Same as you just heard with your official zoning map, this is your official character-based regulating plan. It's on display here in the City Council chambers this evening, has been in City Hall since December 1st. And this is just the readoption of your regulating plan that you adopted in December 10th, 2024. There are no changes, but we've made a notation that any property that's not shown on these districts is on the zoning map.
Got
That's what I
it.
have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions for Brad? I'll declare this portion of the meeting open for the purpose of public input. Is there anyone here who would like to speak in favor or against the official character-based code regulating plan? Hearing none, we'll be back to revisit that in just a moment. Moving to new business, this is the zoning ordinance amendments adoption. Mr. Calendar just discussed. Are there any questions for Brad? Any comments? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley. Is there a second? Second. Thank you, Ms. Sams. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Adrian. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. That passes. Moving to the official zoning map adoption. Mr. Calendar just discussed. Are there any questions for Brad? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
We give that one to Mr. Thompson and the second to Ms. Crawford. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries, that passes. And moving to the official character-based code regulating plan adoption that Mr. Calendar just discussed. Is there any further discussion or any questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Crawford. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries, that passes. Moving to the hotel architectural concept design proposal agreement, Mr. Probst and Mr. Bailey.
Thank you, Mayor. I guess this is probably the first time we've brought anything more concrete to you regarding a potential downtown hotel. We've been in high-level discussions with a hotel development company for 3 years now, maybe. And we've kind of moved the ball forward to where we're actually anticipating some soft cost. I don't anticipate a whole lot of cost on our end if this were to eventually go forward, but this is really going to kick off the hotel moving forward a little bit. In order to do that, we need to create a concept design with an architectural firm. This is a preferred architectural firm from the hotel development group we've been talking to. And this is with PFVS Architects and Interiors LLC. And they are, a little background, they're trying to be very cognizant of what our city wants. They're trying to replicate the look and the feel of the greater downtown Monroe and make sure whatever hotel is put there, it fully complements. And as was previously discussed, they're looking at doing a Spring Hill Suites concept under the Marriott Flag Hotel. And Spring Hill Suites allows for a little more flexibility in the design metrics. So that would be a great fit for the city of Monroe. And I've included in your packet a letter of intent for Marriott for this as well. So that's a big deal to move to this point in the discussion. What we're asking for now is a requested expense of $40,000. I don't anticipate that it'll be quite that much, but I just want to allow for some overages just in case we get into some heavy design work and we have to back up and make it just right, massage it just right for our town. So I anticipate it to be about $35,000 in total, but I'm asking for up to $40,000 for this. Again, this is going to be along Davis Street, South Madison, and we are going to be very cognizant of the impact to any nearby residences. That will be heavily weighed into the design considerations of this. Once this moves forward, there's still a huge process to go through. We have to work on certain financial studies, how all of those metrics are going to work with the hotel development group, what the lease arrangement of the property looks like, so on and so forth. So there's, several more months of work to do, but we can't move it forward without this very important concept proposal.
Thank you, Mr. Probst. Are there any questions for Logan? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Make that motion, Mr. Mayor, for the concept not to exceed 40,000.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Is there a second? Thank you, Ms. Sams. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries, that passes. Moving to the renewal of the City of Civility designation. You remember we did this 2 years ago this month. This is something that GMA had put, the Georgia Municipal Association had put forward about 4 years ago. I had conversations with a number of mayors. I'm very proud of the fact that we've always kept our manners fairly calm in our meetings and professional and well-mannered. I also had a fellow mayor whose council voted 5-3 in favor of being a city of civility, and I figured if 3 people didn't agree, that it really needed to be unanimous, and that's what I would prefer here as we renew it. Are there any questions about the City of Civility pledge? Would you like me to read it? Would you like to make a motion to accept?
I'll make that.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Sams. Thank you, Ms. Malcolm. Is there any discussion or any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. That passes. We will remain civil. And we'll renew this in 2 years from tonight, I hope. Moving to the application of package license at Supermercado Amana, which is beer and wine only. Mr. Rosenthal.
Yes, Mayor, that application's in order.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Paul? All in favor? I guess you'd probably entertain a motion before I ask for the vote. I'll have a motion. Thank you, Mr. Bradley. Second? Thank you, Ms. Crawford. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Moving to the appointment of vice mayor. We do this every year. Last week, I sent out committee assignments. You should all have them. Well,
That's fine.
Well, you're DDA again.
Oh, good, okay.
So I can share that with you anytime. But this, we do appoint the vice mayor, and you are in charge of appointing him or her. And I'll entertain a motion or comments or questions.
I nominate Lee Malcolm, vice mayor.
I'm going to give that to Mr. Thompson and to Ms. Crawford, with Ross as a special mention there. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. That passes. Thank you, Lee. Your service has been great, and you always do. Now moving to district reports. Ms. Malcolm.
Don't have anything other than I can assure you that the Downtown Development Authority is working diligently. They we met last week, and they have a lot of great things coming on board, and the calendar should be out this week, by the end of the week, for all the activities and events that have been planned, and our sponsorships are coming in. Just encourage any and every new business to get involved and to contact Sandy or Beth, Cardell for their, for more information, but it's going well.
Thank you, Lee. Ms. Crawford?
No, I don't have anything, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bradley, welcome back.
I don't have any report this month, but I'll bring you one next month.
All right, thank you. Ms. Sams? Adrian, did you have anything?
Not at this time, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Thompson?
All's quiet in District 7.
Great, thank you. Mayoral update, a couple of things. First, to everybody, every single one of you had a hand in our Christmas celebrations, everything from Light Up the Night through candlelight shopping, through our concerts. This is just amazing. We have a little Hallmark town, and I always say you're stepping into a Norman Rockwell painting, and I appreciate the work that all of you did, so thank you. Want to remind you that we have Talk It Up Thursday. It's a GMA event. I think Sherry Bailey and Emily Davenport will be talking on Thursday at 1:30 online. It's all been emailed to you, but it's about the World Cup and how it's going to impact municipalities and counties outside of the metro region, which would put us, probably closer than anybody. So it should be quite interesting. Want to let you know I hosted all the new mayors from our district on Wednesday for orientation. Sherry Bailey came in. I had Daniel Graves, Elberton mayor, join me, and I told him all the do nots, and Daniel told him all the do's, and I think we left them here quite fearful of what they were just about to walk into. So anyway, great group of folks. We've done that. I think that's the third time we've hosted. We got some really lucky folks who have stepped up and stepped into some good positions. And they'll be helpful to Georgia Municipal as a whole. I want to introduce this young man on the first and a half row, Will Vaughn. He has been our intern for City Hall. Laura has been bossy to him, but I've asked him to give a speech tonight for all the things that he's learned.
He's going, wait a minute.
But anyway, I really wouldn't do that to him, but his mother's the head of United Way for Walton County. Will is a senior at George Walton Academy, just a good man, and he's been a joy to be around. This is the second time I've used joy tonight, Chris. How you like that? Finally, if you look in front of your seats, you all receive this invitation for Wish You Were Here. It's an experiential exhibit that will be held at the Eulalia starting on the 15th, and it runs through first part of March. Stephanie Calabrese, who has done a lot of work. She's done books and movies based on our area. It should be really, really cool, so I hope you can go take a look at the people and things that have shaped Monroe over the course of our 205 years. And that being said, I need a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Malcolm. Thank you, Mr. Bradley. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. That passes. Meeting adjourned.